right, good morning. Can you hear me down in Osceola County? All right, good morning. I'm Judge Cameron. This is National Appearances. We're in contact with Osceola County. Can I have appearances for the record for the clerk, please? All right, Mr. Stroll, good morning.
Stephen Miller from the state.
Tiffany Moore Silverman, Public Defender's Office.
All right.
You might be going to add a Spanish interpreter.
Oh, do we have a
We have a couple in Osceola.
couple of interpreters? All right, so do we select them on here?
Add. Insert. Call. See if they answer.
Well, let's see.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line, already sworn in today.
Long time, Ms. Romero. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good. All right, so I think the first case that we've got is Jorge Alejandro Duran. All right, you want to call those first, and the interpreter can then be on her way? Got it?
Spanish interpreter can speak very loud. It's hard of hearing. Spanish is hard of hearing.
All righty.
We'll give it a try, Your Honor.
All right, you can go ahead and swear Mr. Espinoza.
Señor Espinosa, por favor, levante su mano derecha para prestar juramento. Espinosa, levante su mano derecha para prestar juramento, por favor.
All right, so has he been sworn? Did he acknowledge that his hand is still up?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I did not hear an oath.
Mr. Espinoza, can you hear the interpreter?
Señor Espinosa, ¿usted puede escuchar la intérprete? ¿Puede escuchar la intérprete, Espinosa?
Your Honor, he has a hearing aid, but there's no battery in the hearing aid, Your Honor.
All right,
Él tiene... Go ahead.
All right, well, what I'm going to find is that Mr. Espinoza, I've reviewed the charging affidavit. There's probable cause. I'm going to set bond the amount. I'm going to stay the bond at $500 and appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Espinoza. All right, I'm going to give him the option of pretrial release or a $500 bond, whichever he wants. Qualify for either.
Señor Espinosa, el juez ha hallado que hay causas después de haber repasado la affidavit acusatoria, la fianza de $500. Se le designa el abogado para que le represente. Y también va a poder participar del programa de libertad preventiva. Tiene las dos opciones.
Okay, someone maybe can explain that to him, or we can get him a battery in his hearing aid.
Yes, Your Honor. We'll take care of it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Do we? What's the next Spanish interpreter case?
Amy Figueroa.
All right, would you go ahead and swear Madam Clerk, Mr. Figueroa Colon?
Levante su mano derecha, por favor, para prestar juramento.
All right, is somebody gonna swear him? Is there a clerk there? Or are you gonna swear him? Who swears him? Well, we've got an interpreter. We have a defendant. So the interpreter needs to be defendant needs to be sworn. So.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
¿Usted jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad ante Dios? Yes.
All right. It appears as though Mr. Figueroa Colon has two cases. One is a battery for which he is in custody on an active warrant out of Osceola County.
Aparentemente el señor Figueroa Colón tiene dos casos. Uno es de agresión con una orden de detención del condado de Osceola.
Does that warrant is a no bond? Yes. Unfortunately, I don't have a charging affidavit. I don't have anything from which to determine the appropriate conditions of release.
Aparentemente hay una orden de arresto sin fianza hasta el momento de la lectura de cargos, pero el juez no tiene todos los datos, toda la información, la affidavit acusatoria.
So, and I don't have the victim there. Is that correct?
Nosotros hablamos con la víctima en esta mañana, su señoría, y ella está pidiendo que no se le permita tener contacto y que no se le permita regresar a la vivienda.
Mr. Scholl, did you want to be heard on conditions of release on the battery?
Well, Your Honor, at this standpoint, the legislation doesn't want to have no contact. At this point in time, we would not argue that, of course, but we would ask for one-time return, and also, since I don't have a computer myself, Your Honor, here, not to go over on the internet, I'd ask for the bond be set at 500 in PCR. What the PCR because it's the best of the
All right, State?
I'll leave it in the court's discretion.
All right.
It's fine.
I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to require the defendant have no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim. Does somebody have that person's name?
El juez está hallando que hay causas, le va a poner una fianza de $1,000, pero requiere que no tenga contacto con la alegada víctima. No puede tener contacto ni directo ni indirecto con esa persona.
All right, so be Chelsea Gomez.
Se le ordena no tener contacto con la Chelsea Esperanza Polinia Gómez.
No contact and no return to the residence where Ms. Gomez resides.
No puede tener contacto ni puede regresar a la vivienda donde la señora Gómez está viviendo.
The defendant will be permitted to return one time in the presence of law enforcement for a very limited time to collect personal effects only.
Al acusado se le va a permitir regresar en una sola ocasión, acompañado por la policía, para retirar cualquier artículo personal que pueda tener, pero es una visita bien breve y bien rápida, acompañado de un policía.
All right, the defendant also has an additional charge of possession of cocaine, controlled substance without prescription, and drug paraphernalia.
El acusado también tiene una causa de tenencia de cocaína, tenencia de accesorios para el uso de drogas.
On that case, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond on the possession of cocaine and possession of controlled substance at $1,000 each.
En el caso de tenencia de cocaína y tenencia de accesorios para el uso de droga, la fianza en cada uno de estos casos va a ser de $1,000 o una sustancia controlada, $1,000 en cada uno de esos casos.
And on the charge of possession of drug paraphernalia, I'll stay the bond at $500.
Y en el caso de tenencia de accesorios para el uso de drogas, la fianza se mantiene igual, que son 500.
Is the defendant requesting appointment of the Office of the Public Defender?
Al acusado está pidiendo que se le designe el defensor público. En voz alta, ¿sí o no? I believe the microphone for the defendant might be off. Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
I don't have an affidavit. I'm going to provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Figueroa Colon.
No tengo la affidavit de insolvencia, pero temporalmente se le designa al defensor público para que represente al señor Figueroa Colón.
All right, thank you. What's the next
Gracias.
interpreter case?
¿Hay alguna otra persona que vaya a necesitar los servicios de un intérprete? ¿Alguien más que no habla inglés? Levante su mano si hay alguien más que no habla inglés y necesita intérprete.
All right, thank you, Ms. Romero. We may need you later, but for now, you're free to go. Thanks.
Welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so we're just going to pick up at the beginning. I guess we start with Mr. Alejandro Duran. All right, Mr. Alejandro Duran is charged with a failure to appear. There's an outstanding warrant that is signed by I'm not sure who this is signed by.
Might be Judge John Savage, Your Honor.
All right. Judge Jan Savage set bond in the amount of $2,000. I will stay the bond at that amount. Is he seeking appointment of the Office of the Public Defender?
Yes, he is, Your Honor.
All right. I don't have any affidavits on these folks. I'm going to provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender. And then on those cases that I do that, the defendants are then ordered to complete affidavits, and they'll be reviewed by the judge when they see them.
Yes, Your Honor. Here in Osceola County, we had them fill all the PDFs this morning, Your Honor.
Okay. That's why I don't have them, because you have them there. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. All right. That makes sense. All right. Next, I have Ronald Blamble. Mr. Blamble is charged with battery domestic violence. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not domestic violence, just battery. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500 or pretrial release. Okay, the difference between direct pretrial release and pretrial release is what? Well, I'm going to give him his choice. Some folks don't want pretrial release because of the conditions. They would rather post the money. If that's a problem, I can make it just pretrial release. Okay. All right, well, I'm sorry, but you've confused me. What is the difference between pretrial release and direct pretrial release? Do they not need to be screened for pretrial release? Okay, I'm still not sure that I understand that distinction, but I'm confident that you understand that distinction. And so based upon that, I'm going to order pretrial release on Mr. Blamble.
Which case?
Orange County Plotkin, Adam Plotkin.
Is that one I already did?
What kind of case?
All right, we'll change those minutes. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. We'll change that. No?
I said, no, that's okay.
Okay. No, I'm not going to do that. We'll make that straight pretrial release. Thank you. All right, next I have Roderick Brown.
What's the name?
LOTK.
Okay. Counsel, do you need a few minutes? Do you need a few minutes?
My case is orange, Your Honor. You can finish up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well.
All right, Mr. Brown is charged with driving under the influence to the extent his normal faculties were impaired. I'm on fine probable cause. Mr. Brown qualifies for pretrial release. I'll release him PTR. Does he want the public defender's office appointed? All right, I'll appoint the office of the public defender.
Is this the one with the...
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have one when I looked up earlier.
No worries.
Next, I have Alexander Fontanez. All right, Mr. Fontanez is charged with battery. This is on a warrant out of Osceola County. I, again, don't have the warrant. I don't have the facts. I have conditions of the warrant, which we'll get to in a moment. Mr. Scholl, did you want to be heard on conditions of release on this warrant for domestic violence battery? Nope. All right, so that'd be PTR instead of bond?
Yeah, they require your bond plus.
Gotcha. All right. State, do you want to be heard on conditions of release?
I believe just a no contact, no return, no weapons, firearms.
All right. Having found probable cause, I will release Mr. Fontanez on $1,000 bond plus pretrial release. Conditions of his release would be no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of this case. There'll be no return to the scene of this offense. If they reside together, he's entitled to return one time in the presence of law enforcement for a short duration to collect personal effects only. Additional conditions are no weapons or firearms, no consumption of alcohol or drugs. And does Mr. Fontanez want the appointment of the public defender? Is Mr. Fontanez seeking appointment of the public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender. Good luck, Mr. Fontanez. Next, I have Miguel Garcia Tavares. I'm sorry, I heard back.
Your Honor, there's cases in the Osceola County Jail. A certain number of clients have to be, so he's standing back.
Okay.
And he can hear you, so we just talk out loud.
All right, great. And that's Mr. Garcia Tavares?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I have two cases for Mr. Garcia Tavares. One is a violation of probation and community control on an active warrant. Based upon that warrant, I'm going to stay the bond at none.
Somebody different about Pedro Garcia, and one is,
I have Miguel Garcia Tavares.
but the other one is Pedro.
Pedro Garcia has a violation of probation.
All right, well, somebody paperclipped the wrong Garcia then. So is this paperclip to this one? Bear with me. No, this is Miguel Tavares. This is Miguel Tavares. I don't have a front sheet for Mr. Pedro. So let's revisit him, I guess. All right, let's start again. All right, this is Miguel Garcia Tavares. Mr. Tavares was out on bond. All right, let's do this in this order. The new charge is criminal mischief greater than $200 but less than $1,000 and trespass after warning. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. There's probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds at $500 each for a total of $1,000. He was also out on bond on 20 CF 3588, 3 different counts. He was released on 12/15/2020. I'm going to revoke his bond and conditions of release on those charges. Is he seeking appointment of the Office of the Public Defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
Appoint the Public Defender to represent him on those. Thank you. I am revoking the ROR. That's correct. And if I didn't say it, the bond that's been posted on the other 2 counts, the $1,000 and the $500, that those bonds will be revoked. The bonds forfeited, and I don't need to do that. Never mind. Revoke the bond and revoke the ROR. All right. Next we have Joseph Graham. All right, Joseph Graham is charged with 2 count. Yes, sir.
There's 2 individuals due to situation. We have them. We're going to bring them in last, Your Honor. They're out waiting. Then we're going to bring them into the room.
Okay, and who are they?
Graham,
Okay. Graham and Pratt. All right. Next I have Craig Green. All right. Looks like Mr. Green. Mr. Green is charged with battery. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. No contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim. No return to the location of the offense. This was a hotel room, so I don't know that that's appropriate. No alcohol or drugs, no weapons or firearms. Does Mr. Green want the appointment of the public defender? All right, I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Green. Good luck, sir. Next, I have Miranda Jones.
Your Honor, at this point in time, the public defender's office waiting for appearance due to self-harm and OPG, Your Honor. Declared incompetent to proceed in previous cases. So
All right.
This time, Your Honor, due to my knowledge of the Baker Act hold, I'm asking that you release ROR for Baker Act.
All right.
So it's ROR for the purpose of Baker Act.
All right. All right, so it needs to specifically say that? Okay. I find probable cause based upon the affidavit. I'm going to release for Baker Act. And also a condition of her release is not to return to the location of this offense. All right, you're welcome. Am I appointing the public defender to represent Ms. Jones? All right, public defender's appointed. Thank you, Mr. Scholl. Next I have Samantha Ortiz. All right, it's a warrant out of Polk County, find probable cause based upon the warrant. I'm going to stay the bond at none, and the judge in Polk County can make a determination as to whether to set conditions of release. Okay, great. All right, so Pratt is the one with Graham that we're going to do last. Jill Renault, or Reno. All right, Ms. Reno is charged with violations of pretrial release conditions. Based upon the charging affidavit, I find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond at none, and she can see the judge that placed her on pretrial release. I'm sorry, say again? Okay, I have the new law. All right, hang on a second. So I read the charging affidavit, and this involves a no contact order, and it involves children and Ms. Reno's severe intoxication. So that's the pretrial release on the case, which is 2020 MM 2879. Is that correct? Okay. So she's out on that case, and then the new law violation is the violation of PTR? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Okay. I understand every word you just said, but I thought that's what I had done. What I have is that she was out on bond on a battery domestic violence 20 MM 2879. The new law violation is a violation of her pretrial release conditions on that case, correct? So that's two different charges. Have I got that right? Okay. What I'm doing is I'm going to stay the bond at none on the violation of pretrial release. And I'm going to revoke her conditions of release on the misdemeanor 20 MM 2879. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender. And she can take up conditions of release with the original judge. Thank you.
Brutal today. It's brutal.
All right, next I have Angela Rivera. All right, on Ms. Rivera, I find probable cause based upon the charging affidavit. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to require that, based upon the victim's request, that Ms. Rivera have no hostile contact as opposed to no contact at all. I'm certain that someone down there can explain to Ms. Rivera that means that anything that is perceived by the victim as hostile is hostile. She's going to want to remove herself from any situation that could result in that condition being revoked. Is Ms. Rivera requesting appointment of the public defender? All right, I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. Good luck. Next, I have Luis Rivera Rodriguez. Okay, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to release him on pretrial release. Would he like the appointment of the public defender? I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent him. We also have the driving while license suspended or revoked. That first one was drug paraphernalia. He also has a charge of driving while license suspended or revoked with knowledge. I'll also find probable cause. I'll release some PTR on that as well. Thank you. Next I have Eber Valdezon Garon. All right, Mr. Valdezon Garon is here on a warrant signed by Judge LeBlanc. I find, based upon the affidavit and the warrant, that there's probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to require that Mr. Valdezon Garon have no contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim of this case. He not return to the location of this offense, with the exception of one time to obtain personal effects. Is he seeking appointment of the public defender? All right, I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent him. All right, I have left on my pile, I've got the two COVID cases, Pratt and Graham. I have Mr. Pedro Garcia, and then I have a reset from yesterday for mental health. Unless this means it's being reset from today.
Yes, Mr. Simmons here, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Simmons apparently failed to appear. The judge to whom he failed to appear set bond in the amount of $2,000. I'm going to stay that bond in that amount. That's on 20 MM 139. Is Mr. Simmons seeking appointment of the public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Simmons. All right, so does that leave us with Mr. Garcia? Pedro? Okay. All right. Mr. Pedro Garcia is charged with violation of probation or community control. I do not have the warrant. The warrant apparently is no bond. I'm going to stay the bond at none based upon the violation of probation or community control. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Garcia.
He's good, Your Honor. He heard you.
All right, we're going to do Mr. Pratt or Mr. Graham first. Do you care? All right, let's do Mr. Pratt. Mr. Pratt is charged with aggravated battery on a pregnant woman. Also a second count of battery. I'm going to find probable cause based upon the charging affidavit. I'm going to set bond on the aggravated battery on a pregnant woman in the amount of $1,500. No contact directly or indirectly. No return except one time to collect personal effects for a very short duration in the company of law enforcement. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms. Count 2 battery. Find probable cause, set bond in the amount of $500 with the same conditions. Appoint the office of the public defender to represent Mr. Pratt. Yes, sir, Mr. Pratt. Okay, Mr. Pratt, the good news is I can't hear what you're saying. The good news, the bad news is I know that you're dying to tell me some stuff. The good news is your lawyer it makes lawyers very uncomfortable when their clients talk on the record about what happened. So it's a good thing I couldn't hear you because it's not in your best interest. It's not going to change what I'm doing. And it can only hurt you in that you're surrounded by lawyers, including the prosecutor, who will take notes of what you were saying, if in fact he could hear you. All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Graham? Mr. Graham is charged with 2 counts of battery. I'm going to find probable cause on both counts. I'm going to set bond on each count in the amount of $500. I'm going to require that Mr. Graham have no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victims. He's not to return to the location where this occurred. He's entitled to return one time for very short duration in the company of law enforcement to collect personal effects. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Graham. All right, are there any other Osceola County cases that need our attention this morning?
That's everyone on our side, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your day. All right, bye now. And counsel, who have you traveled all the way to the VRC for?
Adam Plotkin, Your Honor.
Before we do that, we need to change from Osceola to... I get the... What magic do I need to do here so we're on the...
The bottom for BRC.
VRC. Well, how easy is that? All right, counsel, could you put your name on the record and tell me who you're here for?
Your Honor, Joseph Flynn on behalf of Adam Plotkin, Plotkin.
Okay. I know I saw Mr. Plotkin in here. Let's see how lucky I can get.
Plotkin. Oh, my name. His first name is Adam.
His last name?
Plotkin, and I'm Joseph Flynn. That's all I
Bear with me just 1 minute while I find... are we bringing Mr. Plotkin in? Can we bring him out of order? Oh, here he is. I got him right here. Madam Corrections Officer, are we bringing him in, or we just... Okay. I didn't mean that in an impatient way. Procedural, I didn't know if we're bringing him in or we're doing him. All right. Counsel, have you had a chance to talk to the state?
Your Honor, I have not had a chance to talk in depth with him.
All right. Do you want to wait? I was just inquiring. Do you want to wait for your client so he knows what you're doing on his behalf?
Yeah, I think it'd be best if we do that. I don't think the state has any objection to bond.
Okay. All right. I have reviewed the affidavit. This is State of Florida versus Adam Bruce Plotkin, 21 CF 43. I find probable cause. I'm ready to set conditions of release, but since he's being brought in, let's wait for him.
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Do we have time to keep moving on some other cases? Let's do that if we could.
Yes.
All right. When you see your client, and if you could sidle over and have a quick chat with him.
Oh, he's right here, Your Honor.
Perfect. Let's do it right now. Madam Clerk, could you go ahead and swear Mr. Plotkin?
You raise your right hand, please. Please try to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Adam Plotkin.
All right, Mr. Plotkin, you're represented by counsel who stands to your left. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I find probable cause. Did you want to be heard on conditions of release, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, this incident took place at my client's residence. They co-parent, the mother of the child and my client co-parent together. Again, I believe that the child is at the other house now, the mother's house. I would ask the court to allow my client to return to his residence full-time, understanding that the alleged victim is going to be living separately.
You lost me just a minute there. So they reside together or they reside separately in co-parent?
They reside separately in co-parent. The mother, who is listed in the police report, lives in Winter Garden.
Okay.
And so the child, we believe the child is at that residence right now and will remain at that residence while the case is pending.
So you're just asking that he be permitted to return to his residence?
Yes, I'm asking Mr. Plotkin to be able to go home.
I state you have no problem with him going to his own home, so long as he doesn't have. He's not going to be going to the too much information. Do you have any objection to him going home?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Has the alleged victim been talked to? Is she here? Does she want to be heard?
It's a he, Your Honor.
He? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I read so many of these, I can't remember which facts go with which one.
It's okay, Your Honor. He is not present.
Okay. All right. Is there, State, do we know whether this is a no contact or no hostile contact situation?
I believe if contact's not made, the default is no contact.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, I've explained that to my client. We can address that down the line, I think.
Yeah. And I think any co-parenting can be handled through third-party intermediaries or any sort of thing in that regard. All right. I'm going to... and I think this event occurred at the defendant's home, not at the co-parent's home. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor. It would happen at my client's residence.
It was during a visitation, as I recall.
Yeah, it was...
Or a sharing.
Yeah, they co-share. There's really no set schedule from what I understand.
Okay, all right.
They do spend time.
All right, so what's going to happen is I'm going to set bond on the amount of $500. I'm going to require there be no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim in this case. That means no phone calls, no text messages, no Facebook posts, no going through you've got to have contact. I don't want there to be contact, but I want you to be able to contact the co-parent to arrange contact with the child.
Yes, I think that it would be safe to say that the mother of the child and my client can still converse as long as he's not having contact with the child at this point.
Okay.
We could probably hammer that out downtown with the judge once we get our bearings set as to what the future holds.
Okay. All right, so this is a case where the victim is the child?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So no contact with the child, contact with the co-parent.
Yeah, we'd ask you to be able to have contact.
All right. No hostile contact with the parent, no contact with the child. No alcohol or drugs, no firearms or weapon. I think that covers everything.
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I feel like everything is hard today.
Take care, Steve.
So good weekend.
Have a good day, Your Honor.
All right, you too. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Am I in trouble?
They trying to get in there.
It doesn't feel like it was. What else is going on today? Bingo. Making it happen today. All right. So, what is next? Okay. That's why it says Spanish on here. Mandarin, I saw that. Oh, language line. All right. Do I summon the interpreter through the Cisco box?
Yes.
All right, so the first one I have is Migdalia Ramos.
Good morning, this is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line, already sworn in. Are we using the headsets, Your Honor?
That would be yes.
Thank you. I'll connect to the podium.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you go ahead and swear Ms. Ramos?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, this is the case of the state of Florida versus Migdalia Ramos. Ms. Ramos is charged with battery. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. Do we know whether the alleged victim wants any contact with Ms. Ramos? Okay, I'm going to order no contact directly or indirectly. She may return to the location to collect personal effects in the company of law enforcement. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. Okay. All right, I'm going to change that from $500 bond to pretrial release. No contact, no return. Thank you, Ms. Ramos.
Gracias.
Thank you very much.
Wait, do I have two cases? Oh, I have a co-defendant. That's what it was. All right, is this Mr. Rosa Flores?
No, Your Honor, Rosa Flores is medical.
Señor
Medical?
Rosa Flores?
Okay. Is this Mr. Renteria Hernandez?
Yes.
Just give me one.
Señor Rentería Hernández?
Rentería Hernández.
All right, Madam Clerk, you may swear Mr. Renteria Hernandez.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Y digo la verdad.
Yes, I will tell the truth.
All right, sir, you are charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set stay bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck, sir.
No puedo hacer una cuestión. Yo puedo hacer una pregunta.
May I ask a question?
You may.
Yo tengo 400 pesos ahí en el depósito. No sé si me pueda usted hacer una rebaja, una ayuda para salir pronto y pagaré 400.
I have $400 deposited there. Is there any way you can lower this so that I can pay with that money and get out?
So you have $400 in cash to bond out today. Is that what you're saying?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, I'll set bond in the amount of $400.
Okay, gracias, se lo agradezco.
De nada.
Okay, thank you very much. De nada.
Ay, gracias a Dios. Right.
Are those all the Spanish cases? I have the Mandarin case.
That's it. She's been making announcements to anybody in the gallery needs interpreter before we let her go?
That's a great idea. Ms. Romero, can you make an
Yes, Your
announcement
Honor.
loud and
Yes.
clear to the folks that are here? Maybe some witnesses may need the assistance of the interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor. ¿Tenemos alguna persona aquí en la audiencia que vaya a necesitar los servicios de un intérprete? ¿Hay alguien que no habla inglés y necesita intérprete de español? Por favor, levanten su mano.
Seeing no hands raised, I saw a head nod. No?
¿Alguien movió la cabeza? No, no necesitan intérprete.
All right, I think it was a false alarm. Thank you, Ms. Romero.
You're welcome, Your Honor. You have a great day.
You as well.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, what direction do we go next?
I'm going to call the language line and see if it worked. It didn't work yesterday.
Okay. All right, so we're going to bring in Mr. Wang.
Okay, we have support proceeding with this English translate to the defendant. Okay, please hold. Push talk.
Talk in the corner. Is this the Mandarin interpreter?
Yes, this is the Mandarin interpreter.
I can hear you very well this morning, Madam Interpreter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you been, well, let's go ahead and swear the interpreter to translate from Mandarin to English and English to Mandarin.
Do you swear to interpret from Mandarin to English, English to Mandarin, the testimonies you will receive today?
Yes.
Would you tell us your name, please?
My name is Ling, L-I-N-G.
All right. All right, Madam Clerk, you can swear Mr. Wang.
Mr. Wang, please raise your right hand.
王先生，请你举起右手。
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
您能保证你所说的全部是事实，是完全的事实，对吗？
可以 Yes.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Wang, you are charged with disorderly conduct in violation of a city ordinance.
你好，王先生，他们指控你是不恰当的接触和举止。
I'm going to find probable cause that crime was committed.
Sorry, could you please repeat the statement?
Sure. I'm going to find probable cause that crime was committed.
我们会找出这个犯罪行为有可能的原因是什么。
I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500.
我们要跟你开这个500块的保释金。
Did you want to represent yourself, hire a private lawyer, or have me appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
你想请一个私人的律师，或者找一个公共就是法律部门的律师代表你吗？
可以找个律师好一点。
Yes, I prefer to get an attorney.
Okay. Are you going to hire that attorney privately, or did you want me to consider your financial situation in appointing a low-cost attorney?
可以，你是想找一个请一个私人的律师，还是根据你的个人经济状况，我给你指定一个就是比较节省费用的律师？
节省费用的。
I would like to get a low-cost attorney.
All right. Are you currently employed, sir?
您现在有工作吗
现在有。
？Yes, I am.
What kind of work do you do, and how much do you earn?
您做什么工作的？就是工资收入是多少？
做指甲，然后收入是3000左右。
I worked at a nail spa, and the income is around $3,000.
Okay, $3,000 a day, a week, a month, a year.
A month.
这个3000块是一天 ，a month.
Did you understand the question, or did you hear the question?
Yeah, I have interpreted a month.
Mr. Wang?
Yeah. A month.
Sorry.
How
We
frequently,
have. Sorry.
how frequently do you earn $3,000?
你多久能够挣3000块
1个月。
？In 1 month.
In 1 month. All right. Do you have any dependents, any family members or children that you need to care for?
你有没有需要抚养的人，比如说家人或者小孩需要你照顾的
没有，
？No, I don't.
就只有我爸在纽约。
All right, Mr. Wang, based upon your income, you do not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. You'll be given a court date to return. You can represent yourself or hire your own lawyer.
你好，根据你的收入情况，你不具有这个资格，就是需要我们给你找一个律师，你可以回头再回这个法庭来，自己代表自己。
All right, good luck, sir.
Judge,
好，祝你好运。
he's here from New York. Are you giving him permission to return back?
He may return to New York so long as he retains local counsel to appear on his behalf or returns for all court appearances.
你可以回纽约，就是除非你去找当地的那个行为方面的心理咨询师、心理辅导员。
So, Mr. Wang, if you return to New York and forget about us, what will happen is a warrant will be issued for your arrest.
就是说，如果你回了纽约以后忘掉了我们这边的事的话，我们有可能会就是给你一个开一个拘捕令。
All right? Any questions, sir?
你有没有什么问题？
那我到时候再回来这边是重新审这个案件吗？
If I returned here, are we going to continue this trial?
You are released pending the state or the city filing charges. Make certain your address in New York is current with the clerk, and seek advice of counsel as to how the case will proceed next.
就是你现在是就是说这个案件是待定在我们这个城市的法庭是待定，就是但是是给你释放了，你可以等你回去以后找你那边城市的这个咨询，就是心理咨询的法律方面的咨询员，问他接下来怎么做。
Unless Madam Assistant Public Defender has a minor in Mandarin and wants to speak to Mr. Wang.
Unfortunately, Your Honor, I do not.
I took a shot. You never know. All right. Good luck, Mr. Wang.
祝你好运，王先生。
All right. So who is this next? Is this Miss Sinclair? Miss Sinclair? All right. All right. Miss Sinclair is charged with domestic violence battery and criminal mischief. Do we have any witnesses here on Miss Sinclair's case? All right, seeing none, I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond on the criminal mischief in the amount of $100.
PTR.
She does qualify for pretrial release? All right. I'm gonna release Ms. St. Clair on pretrial release on both the criminal mischief charge and the domestic violence battery charge. I'm gonna require that she have no contact. Ms. St. Clair, is there any need for you to have contact with your sister?
Excuse me, sir?
Is there any need for you to have contact with your sister?
No, sir. We stay at 2 different locations, so there's no need to have contact.
Okay. All right. I'm going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim in this case, who is Miss St. Clair's sister, Michelle, Keisha?
Yes, sir. Keisha St. Clair.
All right. You stay separate, is that right?
Yes,
so
sir.
there's no need to return to where this occurred?
No, sir.
Alcohol or drugs, weapons, or firearms. Did you want me to consider appointing a lawyer to represent you?
Public defender, yes.
Public defender? All right. What kind of work do you do?
I do hair, babysit.
Okay. Do you have any dependents?
No, sir.
Oh, there we go. You've been holding out on me. That's okay. All right. Well, this shows nothing. I have an affidavit that shows you earn nothing. Is that right?
Yeah. The hair thing is like if I get a client here and there type of thing. It's not a steady job or anything like that.
All right. It's not stable, but vacillates and changes. All right. I'm going to find you qualify for the appointment of the public defender. Appoint the public defender to represent you. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, this is the
sorry.
interpreter.
I'm sorry, Madam Interpreter. I completely forgot. You did such a good job. I'd forgotten that you were still with us. We have no further need of your services, but I thank you so much for your help this morning.
Thank you for your services. Bye-bye.
Bye now. I forgot she was too. It's that kind of day. All right, is this Mr. McCullough?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. McCullough is charged with a health and safety nuisance injurious to health, battery on a law enforcement officer or firefighter EMT, resisting an officer without violence, disturbing the peace, and possession and/or consumption of alcohol in a public place. I'm going to find probable cause for all those charges. I'm going to stay the bonds in the amount contained in the charging affidavit, which would total $1,900. And Mr. McCullough has filled out an affidavit that qualifies him for the appointment of the public defender. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you, Mr. McCullough. Good luck. Joseph Penland. Thank you. All right, we're making a little forward motion here. That's okay. It's all good.
I'm talking to Mike.
As long as I know what to do. It's just half the battle. Good morning, Mr. Penland. Mr. Penland is charged with failure to appear. Back on December 3.
That's the same case.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that was on the
All right. Does the public defender want to be heard on conditions of release or setting bond on Mr. Penland?
Your Honor, we're just asking that it's in reach of the defendant, as since it was just a failure to appear.
I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
We're just asking that the bond be set in reach of the defendant's financial. It's just a failure to appear.
State your position.
Leaving the court's discretion.
All right, Mr. Penland, without discussing your case, you apparently failed to appear for a status hearing on Division 14, and that judge issued a warrant for your arrest with no bond.
I didn't even know I had a warrant, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I didn't even know I even had a warrant.
Okay. Did you know that you missed court?
No, sir.
Are you represented by an attorney?
I think I had a public defender I asked for this morning. I have no money. I have no way to afford anything. I'm homeless. I don't remember anything about having a court date. The virus has been tough on me.
So you previously had a public defender? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I had one. That's when I came here. My court was December 1st. I went there, and they said all charges were dismissed. In the courthouse downtown, December 1st, I went there. They said all my charges were dismissed. I had weapons charges or violence, or my neighbor had got into an argument, and they had arrested me. I did 2 months for that.
Okay, I don't want you to talk about the case. I'm just trying to figure out, I could do one of a couple things, Mr. Penland.
Yes, sir.
I can stay your bond at none, and you can stay in jail until this case is resolved. If you want to get out, I need to be satisfied that we're not going to go through this process again, that you know that you need to be in court, you'll be where you're supposed to be, you'll follow up with your lawyer, all
Yes,
those
sir.
things, right?
Yes, sir. I want to get out. Yes,
Right.
sir.
Do you still live on the McKinley Avenue address?
I got evicted from there.
You got evicted? Do you have a place to stay, or are you on the street?
I'm on the street, sir.
Okay.
I can stay with some friends probably, what I've been doing off and on, and I'm trying to behave myself, get my life back. I got benefits I need to get back from Lakeside, get my check coming back, and try to get back on my feet.
Okay.
If you
I don't
have
suppose he qualifies for pretrial release on a charge where he's failed to appear and it's a felony, does he? Okay. All right. Mr. Penland, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. Okay?
Right.
You already have the public defender appointed. If you can't make that bond, the public defender will come see you.
Okay.
Since you don't have a place to stay, the burden is entirely upon you to follow up with the public defender, because they can't reach you, and if they can't reach you and you have a court date and the judge says, counsel, where's your client? And they say, we don't know where Mr. Penland is.
Right.
There'll be another warrant issued, and next time there'll be no bond, okay?
I have a cell phone. I can give her my number so she can call me. And I just want to get out because there's no way I can afford no bond for $1,000. I don't have no money.
Okay. All right, sir. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000 and require you follow up with your public defender on this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Penland. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so we just going to take these folks as they come? Yeah. Okay. All right. Is this Mr. Charles?
No, Mr. Leaks.
No, Charles is mental health.
Okay. Actually, Mr. Charles has a case in front of me. Another different case. So we're going to pass him, or what's going to happen with Mr. Charles?
So we reset for tomorrow.
Reset for tomorrow? All right, we'll revisit that tomorrow then.
Yeah.
You gonna be here tomorrow?
Which is the most constructive thing? Waive his appearance or roll this tomorrow and see if he's in the mood to come to court?
Is it Mr. Charles?
Yes, I believe the public defender's office represents him. He's got at least one case in my division where I think he's been determined incompetent to proceed. This may be a new charge.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get to the... If you want to roll it to tomorrow, and then we can waive his appearance if he doesn't come tomorrow.
All right, will you or someone from your office have a chance to talk with him?
I will speak to him.
Okay. All right, let's revisit Mr. Charles tomorrow. Please, Madam Clerk. All right, so who is this person?
This is Mr. Leaks.
Mr. Leaks?
Yeah, you have John Doe.
He is mailed out John Doe. John Doe is mailed out.
All right, John Doe, I think, is the one that we needed to change his name on the, or is that a different John Doe? There was a John Doe. It's that one?
Yes, sir.
Apparently, John Doe has a name. He's always had a name, but now we know what it is. And I was provided information on that, but I don't know where. Is this that gentleman, or we were just going to put that on the record? All right, let's do that. Let's do that at the end. Oh, this is the one right in front of me. Gosh. All right. All right. So we're just putting this on the record. This is not. I was provided somewhere in this pile of papers Mr. Doe's correct contact information, correct identification, but I don't know where it is.
Okay, well, this depends if we come back on it.
Okay.
Put it on there.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that at the end. All right, great. All righty, and who is this, please? Mr. Leaks? Okay. Am I going deaf, or is it really loud in here? I can hardly hear anyone. Maybe it's the masks? Is it all the time? All right. All right, Mr. Leaks is charged with resisting an officer without violence, petty theft, and resisting a merchant. I find probable cause for those charges. I'm going to stay the bonds in the amount of $500, $100, and $100. And did Mr. Leaks want me to consider appointing a lawyer?
I get pre-trial release. It's my first charge.
Okay, Mr. Leaks, you're not currently employed, is that right?
No, but I get an SSI check. I can pay the fine. And you'll get pre-trial release is my first charge.
Okay. Well, I've set bond. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. And I think that'll take care of that. Good luck, Mr. Leaks.
I can't get pre-trial release?
I'm sorry?
Pre-trial release is like my first charge. I can pay the fine.
Does he qualify for pretrial release?
He was interviewed. He was not interviewed.
He was not interviewed?
No, sir.
Will it throw everything off if I say bond or pretrial release, or do I have to pick one?
You can do
You can please give me pre-trial release?
That was only Osseo County. All right. Mr. Leaks, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay the bond, which now totals $700. I'm also going to put in your paperwork that you can be released on pretrial release. It's going to require an interview, and they're going to tell you all the things you've got to do.
Okay.
It's your choice. If you say that's too much to do, I don't want to do pretrial release, you've got the money equivalent. If you can't make the money, you got to do the pretrial release, okay?
Okay, I'll do pretrial release.
If he qualifies.
Okay.
Pretrial release. If he doesn't qualify, then he's got to post the money. All right, good luck, Mr. Leaks. All right, is this Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
All right, good morning, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, you're charged with battery. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. That means, Mr. Moore, extraordinarily important, since you don't have a bondsman to check in with, that you make sure your address is current. Are you still at the Cinder Lane Parkway address?
Everything's current and correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Your responsibility to make sure you don't miss court, okay?
It's not a problem.
Did you want me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
I will represent myself.
Okay. All right, sir.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Oh, Mr. Moore, just so you stay out of trouble, don't have any contact with the victim in this case, all right?
Understood.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Timothy Arnold?
That's bad.
All right, Mr. Arnold is charged with battery by strangulation. Do we have a victim here on that? Okay. All right, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the location of the event. No alcohol, no weapons or firearms. And that victim's name is Cynthia Turner. I'm reviewing the affidavit. Mr. Arnold, you're not currently employed, is that right?
Ma'am, I draw SSI and also a veterans check.
Okay.
I'm the only person that lives at the event, place of the event. There's no one else that lives there, ma'am.
Okay. All right. You can return to your home. You're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go back to your home and realize that she's moved in, you got to find another place to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Arnold. And that's no contact. We'll remove the no return. No contact, no alcohol, no drugs, no firearms, no weapons. All right. Good luck, sir. Ramon Aviles?
Yes, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for asking me. Mr. Aviles, you're charged with child abuse. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. This was your child. Do you have another place to stay?
I do have several places to stay, sir, but I'm confused about disciplining my child and being in jail.
Well, I don't want you to talk about that because that's the accusation against you.
Got it.
All right. I
Yes,
am
sir.
going to find that you qualify for the appointment of the public defender. That public defender will help you through this process. I'm going to require that you not have any contact with the alleged victim in this case.
My
For the
daughter?
time being, no contact with your child.
Okay.
Not return to the location where this occurred, where your child resides, if you have another place to go.
Perfect.
All right?
Will do.
No alcohol, drugs, no firearms or weapons.
Don't
Good
do
luck,
that
Mr.
anyway.
Aviles.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay, God bless.
Joseph Corelli?
Your Honor, he's mental health.
Does that mean we proceed without him, roll it to tomorrow, or put it to next week to have some other judge address it?
Who is this?
Corelli. So he's just not available to come to court today?
Yeah, he's mental health.
All right, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to waive his appearance. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. I'm going to require he not have any contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim in this case, Sonny Blanco Betances. No return to the location of this event. No weapons, firearms, drugs, or alcohol. I just waived his appearance. I'll appoint the PD to represent him. Neville De Silva?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. De Silva is charged with battery by strangulation, domestic violence. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of...
He qualifies for PTR.
He does qualify for PTR?
Yes, sir. And he will, he's here visiting from New York as well. If you wanted to give him permission to go back.
Well, this is... So, Mr. De Silva, are you just choosing to go back to New York? Were you visiting here?
Choose back to New York. Choose going back to
Choose
New
to
York.
go back? All right, I'm not going to permit Mr. De Silva to return to leave Florida until he can go in front of the judge to whom this is assigned. So he can certainly file a motion, but for the time being, I'm going to set bond. I'm going to...
He does qualify for PTR.
He does qualify for PTR. That's what you told me a minute ago. All right. All right, I'm gonna release him PTR. Require that he meet with pretrial release weekly. Can I do that? All right. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to this location. He's not to leave the state. He does not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. But Mr. De Silva, once you get released, if you retain counsel to represent you, or you represent yourself, you can always file a motion with the judge to whom this case is assigned. It looks like it's Division 10, and that judge can determine whether to permit you to return to New York. All right? All right, sir. Good luck. Axel Girbolini Hernandez. All right, Mr. Girbolini Hernandez is charged with aggravated battery, domestic violence. I find a probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. Require that he have no... I'm sorry?
He does qualify for PTR.
Okay. All right, I'll release some pretrial release. That way we know That's a better choice. I'm going to require that be weekly contact with pretrial release. No contact with the alleged victim in this case. No return to the location of this offense on Las Cortes Lane. It looks like Mr. Girbolini Hernandez resides at the same location as Ms. Colon. Is that right?
It's not Miss Colon, it's Miss Marilyn Hernandez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I've got them both as witnesses, and I forgot what I read. All right.
Yeah.
So Ms. Marilyn Hernandez lives on Cimarron Boulevard.
Yes, 4203 Cimarron Boulevard.
And you live on Cortez Lane.
No, sir. I live at the same location with Miss Marilyn, and Miss Colon and Miss Girbolini live in the same complex, different building.
Okay. All right. I'm going to require that you not return to the location where the victim resides. So if you live in the same apartment, you've got to find another place to stay.
Not the same apartment, same complex. But we have about 7 or 8 buildings in between us.
All right. We don't have Ms. Hernandez here, do we? Is pretrial release heard from Ms. Hernandez? Does she have a position on contact versus no hostile contact?
Judge, according to pretrial, it was stated that the victim wanted an emergency injunction until Monday till she get to the courthouse. That was noted.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim in this case. If you live in the same complex and you see her walking past the office, your job is to turn and run the other way. Okay? It's not her job to not have contact with you. It's your job not to have contact with her. Understood. I don't have authority over her. I have authority over you.
Understood.
So if she contacts law enforcement and says that you violated that condition, this condition will be revoked and you'll be back in jail until the case is over. Okay?
Understood.
All right. So that's no contact directly or indirectly. Pretrial release, no alcohol or drugs, firearms, or weapons.
Weekly or no?
I'm sorry?
Weekly?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Excuse me?
And Mr. Girbolini Hernandez does not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. All right, good luck, sir.
Sir, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I have belongings in the
good
person's
point.
house.
Thank you for reminding me. I'll permit you to return to that location for a short duration accompanied with law enforcement to collect only personal effects. All right? You'll have 5-10 minutes with law enforcement to go in and get your stuff and go. I'm glad you reminded me of that. All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
PD or no?
No, he does not qualify.
Okay.
Next, I have Joshua Goldberg.
Your Honor, Joshua Goldberg is medical. However, he has a victim present.
Okay. When you say medical, is he going to be available to come tomorrow? I'm sorry?
He's in a quarantine dorm.
Okay.
And he qualifies for PTR, Judge.
So with the quarantine, can we waive his appearance? Is that routinely done?
I mean, Your Honor, we can waive his appearance. It's fine.
I can't hear you.
We can waive his appearance. It's
Waive
fine.
his appearance? All right. All right, why don't we swear the witness?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self to God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Sophie Pestano.
Speaking to the mic.
Sophie Pestano.
All right, Ms. Pestano, you are identified as the victim in this case. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and it indicates I'm going to find probable cause for Mr. Goldberg's committing 3 offenses. I'm inclined to set conditions of release. It's my job to determine what those conditions are. Did you say he qualifies for PTR?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, without getting into the facts of the case, because I've read the charging affidavit, my inquiry of you, or this is your opportunity to let me know, do you have any interest in having contact with him, no contact with him, no hostile contact with him? Tell me what you want me to know about his conditions of release.
I do want contact with him.
Okay. Yes. Are you afraid of him?
No, not at all.
All right. If I release him, I would release him no hostile contact. What that means is, if you're asking me that you want to have contact with him, I can order that. But if you should feel that his behavior toward you is hostile, it's your responsibility to contact law enforcement, at which time his conditions of release will be withdrawn and he'll be sit in jail till the case is over. You understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Do you feel that you can carry out your responsibility, which is, if you feel as though he's being hostile, the responsibility becomes yours to remove yourself from that situation and contact law enforcement.
Yes,
you understand
sir.
that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because if you don't feel you can do that, I can make it no contact, and he doesn't have any contact with you at all.
No, I can do that. I can do it.
All right. State, did you have any inquiry of Ms. Sestano?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I'm going to waive Mr. Goldberg's presence. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to release him pretrial release. I'm going to permit him to have no hostile contact with the alleged victim in this case, Ms. Sophie Pastano with a P.
Yes.
Do you all reside together?
No, we don't. I'm currently visiting him at the moment.
You're in Gainesville, he's here?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, and then I have a quick question.
All right.
Would he be released today? Because he drove me here and I work tomorrow, so I'm going to need to get back to Gainesville.
That is above my pay grade.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
He is currently, I think, in quarantine. I don't know if he qualifies for pretrial release, when he'll be released.
Okay.
So you might want to find other means to get to work.
Okay, so how will I know when he gets released?
I would check with the folks downstairs.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. All right, so probable cause, pretrial release, no hostile contact, no weapons or firearms, no alcohol or drugs. All right, thank you for coming in, Ms. Pastano.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
All right. Is this Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Gonzalez is charged with aggravated battery with a weapon.
She qualifies PTR.
All right. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to release her pretrial release. No contact directly or indirectly with Angel Morales. No return to the location of this event. Do you reside with Mr. Morales?
Actually, that's my apartment. I've been there for 4 years.
Okay.
And he's been in and out of my apartment for almost less than 6 months, but he doesn't pay no bills or nothing in there. I live with my kids, and my kids' school's district is there.
Okay.
He actually resides with his mother.
All right. I'm going to order that you have no contact with him. If you go back to your home and he's not there, then that's good. If he's decided to move in, you're going to have to find someplace else to stay, and you can bring that up with the judge to whom the case is assigned. It looks as though you filled out an affidavit. You have 2 children and no income at this time?
At this moment, no, sir. Because of the COVID, they let us go.
Okay. I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And if the housing situation becomes an issue, you can have your lawyer address the judge, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
No contact is on condition.
No contact, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms. PTR. She can return because it's her apartment. Yeah. Which is important to know. All right. Is this Miss Hall?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to find a probable cause on the charges of possession of cocaine and battery domestic violence. On the cocaine, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. Battery domestic violence, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. Do we have a witness here on that? Nope. I'm going to require no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim in this case, which I believe is her mother.
That's my daughter.
Your daughter, I'm sorry. No contact or direct or indirect. Do you all reside in the same location?
She lives with me.
Okay, she lives with you? All right, well, I'm going to require that you not have contact with her and you not return to where this occurred. So you've either got to find someplace else to leave or make sure that she goes somewhere else and then you can return to your location, okay?
No problem.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms. I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of the public defender and I'll appoint that lawyer to represent you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Billy Lay. All right, Ms. Lay is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm gonna find probable cause. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Thanks for pointing that out. Are you Mr. Hart?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ma'am Quick, would you swear Mr. Hart?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Hart, because of the air conditioning and the glass and the mask, and you're going to have to shout at me. All right?
Gotcha.
All right, sounds good. All right. All right, so Mr. Hart, I have found probable cause that this event occurred. It's my job to set conditions of release. You have an opportunity as the alleged victim in this case to let me know your thoughts. Do you want to have any contact at all with Ms. Lay? Do you only want to have contact so long as it's not hostile?
I can have contact. I'm fine.
Okay. It doesn't sound like you're fine, but you're telling me that you have no objection to no hostile contact, correct?
Correct.
You understand that if I release Ms. Lay on that condition, that places a burden on you. And that burden is if you feel that she's behaving hostile toward you, it's your obligation to leave her and to call the police, at which time her conditions of release will be revoked and she'll sit in jail till this case is over. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Hart, if you feel like you're not up to that, I can make it no contact whatsoever, and then she just can't contact you at all right?
I can handle it, sir.
All right. State, do you have any questions for Mr. Hart?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right. And does Ms. Lay qualify for PTR?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Lay, I just want to spend a minute. We've had Mr. Hart here. I'm finding probable cause. I'm setting bond. I'm requiring that you have no hostile contact with Mr. Hart. What that means, quite simply, is I have jurisdiction over you. I don't have jurisdiction over him. Mm-hmm. If you get into a disagreement and he believes that your contact with him is hostile, the police are going to come get you and you're going to have to come back to jail. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm also going to order no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck. Did you want me to consider appointing a lawyer, or are you going to hire your own to represent
I will
yourself?
hire my own.
Okay, all right, good luck.
Judge, did you set a bond amount?
I thought I did $1,000. Maybe I didn't say it. Oh, thought it. Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Thanks, sir.
Is this Amy Lopez Garcia?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to find probable cause on the charges of burglary to a dwelling with an assault or battery, domestic violence, and sanitary nuisance. I'm setting bond in the amount of $2,500 on the burglary with an assault or battery, $1,000 bond on the domestic violence battery, and $100 bond on the sanitary nuisance. I'm going to require that the defendant have no contact directly or indirectly with John Ruskowski. I'm also going to require that she not return to the location of this event, which I believe is the Solaris apartment complex at 7426 Key Colonial Avenue, number 1215. No alcohol, no drugs. No weapons, no firearms. So no contact, no return. Did you want me to consider appointing the public defender to represent you?
Can I write the bond?
She doesn't? Really? $2,600
Yes.
a month? No? All right. Wow, all right. All right, Ms. Lopez Garcia, it appears as though you do not qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, so you're going to have to retain your own lawyer or represent yourself. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Jaden Perez. She does? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I reviewed the charging affidavit. I'm going to find that Ms. Perez qualifies for, I'm going to find probable cause. She qualifies for pretrial release. I'm going to release Ms. Perez on weekly reporting pretrial release. No contact. Jordan is your brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No contact with Jordan. Do you all reside in the same place?
Yes, sir. But I can go somewhere else if
Okay,
needed.
that's probably best.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to order no pretrial release, no contact, directly or indirectly. You can return to that location one time with law enforcement for a short duration to collect any personal effects. All right. Other than that, no return to the location of this event. I have an affidavit indicating that you qualify for the appointment of the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. All right, good luck. All right, is this Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Smith, come on up.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Smith is charged with felony battery, and if I'm reading this correctly, he was out on bond for driving with license suspended or revoked. All right, I'm going to take no action on the driving with license suspended or revoked.
Yes,
Doing
sir.
this backwards. I am going to find probable cause on the new law violation. I'm going to set bond the amount of $1,000. I'm going to require that the defendant have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim of this case. I think that's Vashti Pruel.
Sir?
Is the victim? I've got Vashti Spruell and I've got Bettina Gant.
Bettina Gant is my wife, Your Honor.
Okay.
We were at my house, and Vashti came to my house.
Okay.
So I was arrested from my house. And
Okay. All right. I don't want you to say anything else, but
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you straightening that out because it's a little confusing.
Yes, sir.
And the affidavit's very, very lengthy and single space. So, all right. So the victim doesn't live at your house?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to require you have no contact with this person, but you can return to where you live.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Is there any way I could get a pretrial release, Your Honor, or ROR, please?
I didn't think so. You're already out on bond on another charge. I could revoke that bond, but I'm not going to.
Yes, sir.
So I think the $1,000 is the correct amount of bond. And do you want me to consider appointing the public defender? Looks like I have an affidavit. Looks like you qualify. Your lawyer might be able to file some sort of motion on your behalf. All right. So I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Take no action on the Willis charge. All right.
So I just have to post bond and I can go?
That's correct.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Larry Wilcox. Looks like we have a witness coming on that charge. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. Mr. Wilcox appears to, I'm sorry. I'm going to find probable cause on the charge of aggravated stalking. Also on the charge of burglary to an unoccupied dwelling and criminal mischief. Are you Miss Hinton?
Yes, sir.
Can I hear you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Miss Hinton, you just shout at me and I'll be able to hear you, okay?
Okay.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you go ahead and swear Miss Hinton?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes.
All right, Ms. Hinton, I've reviewed the charging affidavits in this case. I'm a little concerned. What do you want me to know about my setting conditions of release for Mr. Wilcox?
He needs to have an anger management class.
I can't hear you.
I would love for him to go to an anger management class. I'm not scared of him. I just don't want no contact with him, and I really want him to get some help.
Okay, all right. So as I understand from the charging affidavit, just the accusations I've read against Mr. Wilcox, he has no need to be in contact with you, correct?
That is correct.
That relationship is done.
It's done.
Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Wilcox, did you hear that? That relationship is done. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I'm going to find probable cause on the aggravated stalking, as I've already said, the burglary and the criminal mischief. I'm going to set bond on the aggravated stalking in the amount of $2,500. I'm going to set bond on the burglary to an unoccupied dwelling in the amount of $1,000, and criminal mischief in the amount of $150. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. I'm all over the map here today. $2,500, $1,000, $150. You followed me. All right. Mr. Wilcox, I'm going to require that you have no contact, directly, indirectly, with Ms. Hinton. That means no flowers. That means no text messaging. No talking to friends that know her. That means no contact means absolutely no contact. All that needs to happen is Ms. Hinton needs to contact law enforcement and let them know that you've had contact with her, and you'll get your conditions of release revoked. Okay? I don't think there's any confusion on that, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So there's no contact. There's no return to the location of this offense, and you're currently unemployed. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, sir, I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you on both of these cases. I don't know why they're in different divisions. All right, sir, good luck.
Judge, I'd ask no weapons, no firearms.
No weapons, no firearms, no alcohol or drugs. Okay? All right, thank you, Ms. Hinton. All right, is this Mr. Basiles? Bazilet?
Yes.
Bazilet. Sounds much better when you say it.
He qualifies for PTR.
He does? All right. And we have a victim here. All right, is this Ms. Valmont?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Valmont, just like Ms. Hinton, I can barely hear you. It's not you, it's all the surroundings. So just shout at me, okay? Is that yes?
Yes.
All right, I can almost hear you. All right. Has Ms. Valmont been sworn yet? Would you swear her, please, Madam Clerk?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God? Yes.
All right, that was good. All right, Ms. Valmont, I've reviewed this charging affidavit. It appears as though you are married to Mr. Bazilet. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, I have to decide what conditions to set to release him. Do you have concerns about having contact with him?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you want me to set conditions that permit him to not have hostile contact with you, but permit him to return to where you reside together?
Yes, I want him to come home.
I can't hear you.
I want him to come home.
You want him to come home? Yes. All right. Madam Madam Pretrial Release Officer, did you say he qualified for PTR?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's why I wrote PTR on this. I guess I didn't look at my notes. All right. Mr. Bazilet, I'm going to find a probable cause for the charge. I'm going to release you on pretrial release. I'm going to order that you not have any hostile contact with your wife. Hostile contact is in the eye of your wife. If she feels as though you're behaving in a hostile manner toward you, all she's got to do is call the police, and you're going to have your conditions of release revoked, and you'll be back in jail. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Also going to require no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms, and it appears though you qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. All right, good luck, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
I have a question. Will he be out today?
Should be. He's got to go through a screening process for pretrial release. That should be today.
Okay, thank you.
Unless it's not. I don't know. I'm also not in charge of getting people to work, so. All right, is this Mr. DeJesus?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. DeJesus is charged with battery, domestic violence, dating violence. And is this Miss Acosta?
Yes, it is, sir.
All right, Miss Acosta, just like the other ladies, you need to just shout because I can barely hear you.
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay, good. Madam Clerk, would you go ahead and swear Miss Acosta?
You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
All right, tell me your name, please.
Carmen Acosta.
All right, Miss Acosta, you are identified as the victim of this dating violence. One of my jobs is to determine safety to the community, determine whether if I release Mr. DeJesus that he's not going to be a danger. Are you afraid of him?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Not just not, but absolutely not.
Correct.
All right. So you want to have contact with him?
Full contact, yes.
Okay. So you understand that if I release him and he violates that condition of no, I'm going to order no hostile contact. So he's got to be nice to you.
Okay, not a problem.
If you feel as though he is behaving in an aggressive or hostile manner, it's your responsibility to call the police. You understand?
I understand, sir.
Okay, all right. Does he qualify for PTR?
No, sir.
No? All right. All right, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to require no hostile contact. So, Mr. DeJesus, that means it's in the eye of your wife to determine whether you're behaving in a hostile manner toward her. If she tells you you're being hostile, it's your job to back away, because if you continue in that behavior, even though you think you're not being hostile, she'll call the police and you'll be back in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. $500 bond, no hostile contact, no alcohol, no drugs, no firearms, no weapons. Did you want me to consider appointing a lawyer or representing yourself or hiring a lawyer?
Well, can I talk about that when I'm...
You can. You can. I won't appoint a lawyer at this time. You'll represent yourself. You can go into the marketplace, see if you can hire a lawyer. If not, when you go to see the judge in Division 50, you can talk to the judge at that time.
I understand.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right. Is this Kiara Perez Velasquez?
Kiara Perez Velasquez, yes.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'm going to find probable cause. Do we have a witness here on that? Okay. All right. Is this Mr. Collier?
Yes, sir.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you swear Mr. Collier?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Zakar Collier.
Okay. A little bit louder.
Zakar Collier.
All right, Mr. Collier, you have been identified as the victim in this case. As you heard me maybe talk to one of the other folks before you, it's my job to determine conditions of release. Do you want to have contact with Ms. Perez Velasquez?
Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
All right. I can order that she not have any hostile contact with you, or I can order she have no contact with you whatsoever. You prefer which of those?
I would still like to have contact.
Okay, all right. And you understand that if she behaves in a hostile manner, it's your responsibility to call the police, right?
Yes, sir, I understand.
All right, Ms. Perez Velasquez, you've heard what I've said. You understand I have jurisdiction over you, but not your boyfriend.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to order that. I'm going to release you on pretrial release. I'm finding probable cause. I'm going to order no hostile contact.
Yes, sir.
So if he believes you're being hostile, probably by saying you're being hostile, even if you don't think you are, that violates your terms and conditions of release. So you want to behave very carefully, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Perez Velasquez, I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of public defender. Appoint the public defender to represent you. Good luck. Anything else, sir?
Do you know when she'll be released today?
I'm sorry?
Do you know if she'll be released today?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm her ride, so I just want to know a time.
You can check with the folks downstairs. They'll tell you how long it'll take.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
What was the condition again, Judge?
No hostile contact, no weapons, firearms, alcohol, or drugs. Okay. PTR. Ayana Peter? All right, do we have a witness for Miss Peter?
Your Honor, her victim is also the her combatant. He's outside.
Oh, so they were both arrested?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, is that Mr., husband, all right. Ayana
it's my
and
father.
Gillis Peter, okay. Okay. All right. All right, I'm gonna find probable cause. Miss Peter, do you reside with your husband?
It's my father.
Your father, I'm sorry.
I don't reside with him. I had intentions of doing it, but it didn't work out, obviously.
Okay. So you live in your father's house, or your father lives in your house?
Well, I was residing at his home.
Okay.
For a few days, because I just came up here.
Okay. Does Miss Peter qualify for PTR?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna
Ma'am, can I ask a question? Like, why not?
Sure.
Can I ask why do I not qualify for it?
I can't hear you.
Why do I not qualify?
For pretrial release?
Yes.
We're about to find out.
Okay.
Her community ties was not verified.
Okay. Apparently your community ties are not verified. All right, so Ms. Peter, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to require you have no contact with your father, Gillis Peter, directly or indirectly. You're not to return to the location of this event. You're entitled to go back one time for a short duration with law enforcement to collect your personal effects. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. I'm going to find that you qualify for the appointment of the public defender. You're not currently employed, is that right?
No.
Okay, all right. All right, good luck.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When I do go to the home to collect my stuff.
With the police?
Yeah, it's with the police. Okay.
Correct.
And afterwards, will I be able to make arrangements for somebody to pick me up and stuff?
Afterward, will you be able to?
Like after coming out to court today, will I be able to make arrangements for a ride? Since I'm not going to his residence.
I'm sorry, I'm really having a hard time hearing. Is it really hard to hear in here, or am I losing my mind? Okay, all right. As long as
I was asking, will I be able to make arrangements for a ride, seeing that I'm not going to his residence, going back to his residence?
Sure, you'll be able to make arrangements when you get out.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Miss Peter. That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. You're not the only one.
Okay, all right. You guys missed a great opportunity to gaslight me. Judge, we can hear clearly. What's wrong with you?
Judge, the next defendant, Peter, he qualifies for PTR, and we was wondering if you would give him permission to return back to the Virgin Island because he works over there a period of time, and he lives over there. So I wonder if you were going to let him continue to work when you need to go and stay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Peter.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Peter, I'm going to find probable cause on the charge of battery domestic violence. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I know he qualifies for PTR, but I'm going to set bond same as the other defendant and victim. I'm reading this correct, right? They're both defendants and victims on one another?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to order no contact. I understand that Mr. Peter wants to leave the country. I'm going to wait for him to see the judge in Division 50 to talk about that. And he does not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. No contact, no weapons, firearms, alcohol, or drugs. So the same conditions as the other defendant / victim, but he can return home because apparently it's his home. All right, good luck, sir. Correct. Andrew Portacio?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did I do, Portacio?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. All right, sir, you're charged with battery domestic violence. And this is going to be, is this Victoria Velardo?
Yes, it is.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you swear Ms. Velardo?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Ms. Velardo, my job is to determine safety to the community, and that includes you, in setting conditions of release. I've read the charging affidavit. I find probable cause for the charge of battery domestic violence. Do you want to have contact with Mr. Portacio, or do you want to have no contact?
Yes, I would like to have full contact, please.
Okay, all right. It appears as though this happened at your apartment. Do you live together, or was he visiting?
He lives with me about 90% of the time. I'm not scared. I don't feel threatened.
Okay, all right. Does he qualify for PTR?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to require no hostile contact. So, Mr. Portacio, you can have contact. You can go stay with Ms. Velardo. You can't behave in a hostile manner. I have jurisdiction over you, but not her. So if she feels as though you're being hostile, that's your cue to back off and leave. Even if you don't think you're being hostile, all she's got to do is call the police and you'll be back in jail, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so PC, no hostile contact, no alcohol or drugs, no weapons or firearms. It does not appear as though you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, so I'm not going to appoint a lawyer today. But you can go into the marketplace and hire a lawyer, or you can represent yourself.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Sir, what was
Have a
that
good day.
bond?
Happy New Year.
What was the bond?
$500 bond. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to know, Ms. Velardo?
No.
All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Your Honor, that would mean 10%, correct? It would be a $50 bond?
I understand it's 10%, correct.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, it's actually a minimum of Mr. Portacio, I actually understand that for a $500 bond, the minimum is $100.
Outstanding, sir.
I think so. Which is not really my job, but I don't want to mislead him. Good afternoon. Come on up. Are you Miss Rosania?
Yes, Your Honor.
She qualifies for PTR.
All right. Miss Rosania, you are charged with domestic violence. Do we have... Michael Brandt? No. Okay. I'm sorry. Did you say she qualifies for PTR?
No, sir. Yes, she does.
She does. Okay. All right. Ms. Rosani, I'm going to find you probable cause. I'm going to release you on pretrial release. Do you have to have... I'm going to order no contact directly or indirectly with Michael Brandt. Do you reside together?
Yes, Your Honor, with our children.
Okay. Well, I'm going to order you have no contact and no return to the location where you reside until the judge to whom this case is assigned can readdress that issue. Okay?
Okay, Your Honor,
you can go back one time to collect personal effects in the presence of a law enforcement officer.
Okay.
You're going to have to figure out how that works. You're not going to have any contact with your husband, so he's going to be taking care of the kids unless and until you can get in front of the judge.
Okay, because I am the primary caretaker for our 6-year-old. I take her to school, pick her up. I'm very involved.
Okay. Well, what can happen is if you can work it out with your husband where he leaves and you stay in the house and take care of the kids, you can do that.
Okay, but how would I communicate that to him? I'm not allowed to... Should I have the law enforcement officer communicate that message to him?
Yeah, that probably would work.
Because he can go to his parents. My mom lives an hour away.
Okay.
And his parents live 5 minutes away. He could go there.
All right. Well, that's something that's beyond my pay grade. I understand that's a concern. I'm not minimizing that you got to figure out what goes on. But my obligation is to make sure that there's no danger to the community, and I have to keep the two of you separated for now. So that's a problem, and it's going to be difficult to resolve. But I think that you can do it. Okay. One thing I am going to do is I see that you fill out an affidavit for the appointment of a lawyer. You qualify for a public defender, so I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you. That lawyer may be able to answer those questions and help you sort through this, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Will I have a bond?
I'm releasing you pre-trial release, so there's no monetary requirement. You just need to go through a screening so they can keep track of you and you can keep track of them, okay? All right, good luck.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Danielle Trujillo?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm sorry?
She qualifies for PTO.
Okay. All right. All right. And is this Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you swear Mr. Rodriguez?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, sir. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Jason Rodriguez Adams.
Okay, you need to shout at me.
My name is Jason Rodriguez Adams.
Okay, that's much better.
My apologies. I'm not feeling too well today.
That's fine. We'll try to get this over as promptly as we can. It's just the sound in here is terrible.
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rodriguez, my job is to decide what conditions of release. And Ms. Trujillo is your wife, is that right?
Fiance.
Fiance, all right.
Your Honor,
are you afraid of having contact with her?
To be honest with you, I don't know what happened. We had an argument in the vehicle. She was at the hotel. She was the one that called the police. And they questioned me on the side of the road on my way to my brother's house for the night.
Okay.
Somehow the next day I woke up at 11:30 in the morning to find out that she had been arrested for, I really have no idea why.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable with her dropping charges or whatever it needs to get her out. We have an 12-month-old in 5 days, 1-year-old baby in 5 days, and I really have no idea why she was even arrested.
All right. So what I'm hearing is you're not afraid of her. You want to have contact with her. You don't want her prosecuted. This came as a surprise to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to find probable cause based upon the affidavit containing this charging affidavit. I'm going to release Ms. Trujillo pretrial release. I'm going to order that she have no hostile contact, so she can come home and you can resume your housing situation. If at any time you feel as though she's behaving in a hostile fashion toward you, it's your responsibility to call law enforcement. And Ms. Trujillo, your conditions of release will be revoked. Okay?
Criticizing cooking included?
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Sorry.
Whatever that situation is, Mr. Rodriguez. All right. So no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms, pretrial release, no hostile contact. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're very welcome. Good luck. Oh, wait. Before you leave, Mr. Trujillo, looks as though you... 2,400 a month qualifies with one?
As of today, she might no longer be employed given the circumstances.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and find you qualified for the appointment of public defender, and that public defender will help you through this process as well. All right?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys. Ms. Weiss? All right. All right, Ms. Weiss is charged with domestic violence battery.
She qualifies for PTR.
Is this Mr. Muhammad?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Muhammad, you got to shout at me because I can barely hear you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I find probable cause, and you said she does qualify for PTD?
Yes, sir.
Pretrial release? All right. All right. Please swear in, Mr. Muhammad.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Mohammed Alami.
Okay. All right. So is it Muhammad Alami or Alami Muhammad?
First name is Alami. First name is Mohammed, last name Alami.
All right. I'm sorry, I called you by the wrong name. All right, Mr. Alami, you have been identified as the victim in this case. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set conditions of release. Are you afraid of Ms. Weiss?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any problem having contact with her so long as it's not hostile?
I would like to have contact with her.
Okay. All right. Do you all reside together at the Stevens Court address?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to find probable cause. As I said, I'm going to release Ms. Weiss to pretrial release. No hostile contact. Ms. Weiss, that means you can't have any hostile contact with Mr. Alim? Alami, I'm sorry. If Mr. Alami feels as though you're behaving in a hostile fashion, all he's got to do is call the police, and you're going to be your conditions of release are going to be revoked. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And you're not currently employed, is that right?
Not at the moment.
Okay, all right. All right, based upon that, I'm going to find that you qualify for the appointment of the public defender. And good luck.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Alami.
Would I be able to bail her out even though I'm a victim?
Didn't hear you.
Would I be able to bail her out even though I'm a victim?
She's being released, pre-trial release, so as soon as she goes through the screening process, she'll be released. I don't know when that will be.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we have another Weiss. Are you related to the last Weiss?
No. It's
What are the odds of
coincidence.
that? All right.
You qualify for PTR.
PTR? All right. Well, pretty good if we're going alphabetically, I guess. Mr. Miller, I assume you have no questions. I'm waiting for you to jump up.
You're taking care of it, Judge.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Ms. Weiss, you were charged with battery. Do you and Ms. Mitchell reside together?
No, sir.
No? All right. Have we heard from Ms. Mitchell?
No, sir.
Does she qualify for PTR?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's what you told me. That's why I wrote PTR. All right. All right, Ms. Weiss, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to release you on pretrial release. I'm going to require that you have no contact directly or indirectly with Ms. Mitchell.
Okay.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of the public defender. It seems like everyone has a Volkswagen. Everyone drives a Volkswagen. I don't know why that is. All right. Just something I noticed. Okay, so I think that should take care of it.
Good. Thank you.
Like the last 6 people, all drive Volkswagens. Is this Jimmy Williams? All right, Mr. Williams, come on up. All right, so do we have any? We have no witnesses left. All right. Have we heard from Ms. Thomas? No?
No, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Williams, you live with Ms. Thomas at the address on Flower Coral?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm going to find probable cause. I've done this so many times I can't remember. Did you tell me you qualified for PTR?
No, sir, he does not.
All right, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to order no contact directly or indirectly with Ms. Thomas, no return to the place that you reside together, with the exception of one short duration with law enforcement to collect personal effects. Did you want me to consider appointing a public defender to represent you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Are you currently employed?
Yes.
What do you earn a week, a month, a year?
I get paid bi-weekly, but I'm only doing part-time right now.
Okay.
So,
what do you make
only like
bi-weekly?
probably only like 200, 300.
Okay. All right, based upon your testimony today, I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. So, probable cause, $500 bond, no contact directly or indirectly, no return, no weapons, firearms, alcohol, or drugs. All right, sir, good luck.
Thank you.
Shalanda Brand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Brand, come on up. All right, looks like Ms. Brand failed to appear for her arraignment. A no bond warrant was issued. I did not know any facts, so I can't speak to conditions of release. All right, does anybody want to be heard on conditions of release? Public defender, prosecutor?
Your Honor, I'm just asking for no conditions of release. I don't have an affidavit either.
Okay. Is that something that we can get?
Of the underlying offense?
I'm sorry?
You want an affidavit of the underlying offense?
Correct. Because apparently there's no bond because she failed to appear.
Okay, 1 second.
I could stay the bond at none and let the judge in Division 14 determine the conditions of release. It was an arraignment, but I don't know, was there a charge filed? Was it, since it was an arraignment, I don't know whether they arraigned her on the charge that she was really arrested on?
Information was filed back in November.
November?
And information was filed 11/19.
Okay.
And the synopsis is that back in July, the victim confronted the defendant about taking money. They got into a heated verbal argument. The victim was hit by the defendant in the head with a glass bottle and sustained moderate lacerations.
Okay. All right. Do you want to be heard on conditions of release, Madam Public Defender?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $5,000. No contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim. No weapons, no firearms, no drugs or alcohol. And I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Ms. Brand. Dante Brown.
Dante Brown, bonded, Your Honor.
Yay. Ron Kafakis or Kafakis?
Kafkas, sir. Kafkas.
Kafakis.
Yeah.
Is it Greek?
Yes, sir.
Kafakis. All right. All right, Mr. Kafakis is charged with battery on a law enforcement officer, attempted burglary of a conveyance, resisting an officer with violence, and resisting an officer without violence.
He qualifies for PTR.
All right, I'm going to find probable cause on all 4 counts. I'm going to set bonds as follows. On battery Leo, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. On attempted burglary of a police vehicle, just a conveyance, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. resisting an officer with violence, $100, and resisting an officer without violence, $100. So that total will be $3,700. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And really, he doesn't qualify? $1,200 every 2 weeks? $2,400 a month? Really? All right. Mr. Kavakis, apparently you don't qualify for appointment of a lawyer, so you're going to either represent yourself or hire a private lawyer, all right? Good luck.
Yes, sir.
Antonio Jones?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Jones is charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, grand theft of a firearm, possession of cannabis, and resisting an officer. All right, does the defense want to be heard on probable cause on any of these counts?
Just one moment, Your Honor. I just want to double check. Your Honor, it might just be me, but I'm not seeing the grand theft. Is this on the same arrest affidavit?
PC for the grand theft for the firearm?
Yes. I see the possession of the firearm, and so the only thing I'd be arguing is, I guess, the grand theft. I just want to make sure I'm not missing that.
All right, Mr. Miller, do you want to make an argument on PC for the grand theft of the firearm?
Yeah, just towards the bottom, the third paragraph to the bottom states that they ran the serial number on the firearm, and it was reported stolen to the city of Orlando on 10/15/19 with a case number. That's the only reference to the theft, Your Honor. That was reported stolen to law enforcement in October.
Well, I saw that, but is that sufficient to establish probable cause that Mr. Jones took or attempted to take property of another with the intent?
Well, normally the possession of recently stolen property, but I believe that case law gives it out to about 4 to 6 weeks.
All right. All right, I'm going to find probable cause on the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $7,500. Possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to find no probable cause and release Mr. Jones on his own recognizance as to count 3, grand theft, third-degree felony, grand theft of a firearm. As to possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100, and resisting an officer without violence, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. So by my rough math, that's $8,700. He is to possess, as he is a convicted felon, no weapons or firearms, no alcohol or drugs, and Mr. Jones has 8 dependents and no income. Is that right?
At this time, Your Honor, yes, that is correct.
All right, I'm going to find he qualifies for the appointment of a lawyer and appoint the public defender's office to represent him. All right. All right, next I have Michael Neal. All right, so Mr. Neal, let me deconstruct this a bit. So Mr. Neal is charged with loitering or prowling, and he was out on bond on the offense of grand theft motor vehicle. Nope. All right, he was out on, he failed to appear, and there's a warrant for the, no. Complicated stuff here, let's see. This is grand theft motor vehicle. So I just know he's out, because this is possession of controlled substance, this is failure to appear on the no valid DL, and this is loitering or prowling. Okay, and that's grand theft motor vehicle? Okay. So he was picked up on this, they found that he had a warrant for failure to appear, and he was already out on bond on this. Okay, I know what's going on. Let's do it in this order. As to the charge of loitering or prowling, all right, I'm going to find probable cause on the charge of loitering or prowling. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. Mr. Neal, you're not currently employed, is that right?
No, sir.
All right. I'm going to find he qualifies for the appointment of the public defender.
Yes, sir.
Do you still stay at 548 Martin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because your affidavit says no address.
No, it's just there, 1529, sir.
Okay. All right. So PC, bond, public defender on the new charge. On the failure to appear, appears as though there was a warrant issued for his failure to appear in the for arraignment. That was for no valid DL. Bond on the warrant was $2,000. I'm going to leave that at $2,000 because the judge knew what he or she was doing. And I'm going to revoke his bond on the grand theft motor vehicle. So that bond will be none. Does? Oh, possession of meth? Is that also with the, on all this? Yep, okay. So this is really, there's really 4 things because he was out on bond. Okay. All right, so I've taken care of those 3 things. On the possession of controlled substance without a prescription, I'll stay the bond at $1,000. All right, good luck, Mr. Neal.
And Judge, you found probable cause on the possession of controlled substance?
I did.
Okay.
Your Honor, did you appoint the PD to all of his cases?
On all the cases.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is this Mr. Reyes?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Reyes is charged with dealing in stolen property, burglary, false verification or ownership, and petty theft. All right, I'm going to find probable cause on the dealing in stolen property. I'm going to set bond. Is the dealing in stolen property a higher degree than burglary? Is that why it appears first?
I'd have to look. I know it's
been a while. I would think that burglary to a structure, if it's not occupied, I guess it's an F3.
I know the dealing's a second-degree felony.
Well, that answers my question. All right. On the dealing of stolen property, I'm going to stay the bond at $5,000. Burglary to a structure, I'm going to set the bond in the amount of $1,000. False verification, I'm going to set bond in the amount of, stay the bond at $150, and petty theft, stay the bond at $100. So that's $6,250 total. I'm going to find Mr. Reyes qualifies for the appointment of the public defender. Good luck, Mr. Reyes.
Actually, it's a F1, Judge.
Oh, it is?
Just so you know, yeah.
Well, I try to learn one thing every day, so that's the thing I learned. Well, this is good news. This is all paper put together. All right, I have Dylan Roberts. Refused? I'm offended. He doesn't want to see me? All right. Why don't we waive his appearance? The old milk crate charge. All right, I'm going to find PC on the possession of heroin. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. Possession of drug paraphernalia, I'm going to stay the bond at $500. He's got an out-of-county warrant for petty theft. Do we know what county that's from? Manatee. I'm going to stay that bond at $2,500. So that covers it, right?
Yes.
Okay. No milk crate charge, apparently. All right, heroin 1,000, paraphernalia 500, 2,500 on the out of county. Yes. I feel like I'm on a stretch. I really do. You're killing me. I'm just feeling so good about myself. All right, Curtis Spencer. All right, mental health. Okay. All right, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000 on the charge of possession of MDMA and ecstasy, and appoint the public defender to represent him. Joseph Williams. All right, I'm going to find he's waived his appearance, or I'm going to waive his appearance. All right, I'm gonna find probable cause. I'm gonna stay the bond at $5,000 and appoint the public defender. Monique Wilson? Yes. All right, Ms. Wilson is here on a charge of aggravated battery with a weapon pursuant to an arrest warrant signed by Judge Beamer, Judge John Beamer. I'm going to stay the bond at $3,500 and appoint the public defender's office to represent Ms. Wilson. Then I've got Timothy Lee Wilson. This says 2 of 2. Is this the same person? Okay. All right. Timothy Lee Wilson.
Can you see if he bonded?
What's the booking number?
Timothy Wilson. Should I stop reading? The booking number.
Should be 21.
I got it. Agency case number. I should know these things. Inmate number 21000104. Anybody? Anyone?
He bonded.
I don't have to read about Mrs. Potato. Now, is this the last file?
Yes.
Are you certain? I mean, I love being here and everything, but... All right, but these are going to go fast. All right, is this Gene Philippe Jr.? Nope. Oh, this inmate number is 2130103.
Junior?
Yes.
Bonded.
Who is this?
Alexander Leyva, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Leyva, you are charged with driving while license suspended or revoked. And it appears as though so am I reading this? No, that's the same one. No, that's the same inmate. All right, so if I'm reading this correctly, He's out on bond on 3 driving license suspended revokes and got picked up for driving license suspended revoked. Okay. All right, I'm going to set bond on the new charge in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to find probable cause, and I'm going to revoke the conditions of release on 2020 CT 2735 AO, 2020 CT 5993 AO, 2020 CT 6697 AO. And Mr. Leyra qualifies for the appointment of the public defender. Good luck, sir. Is this Heather Nichols? Come on up, Ms. Nichols. Did I miss one? Did I miss all? Oh, these are the ones that I hadn't seen yet. Want me to stop and sign them all now? Let me do her, and then I'll sign.
Yes.
All right, let's do that. I want you to fall behind now. All right, so it appears as though Ms. Nichols had a court date on a DUI charge, failed to appear for a violation of probation status hearing, and bond was set at none. I'm going to find probable cause based upon the capias, stay the bond at none, and appoint the public defender. All right, now you want me to sign these? Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Brown is charged with trespass in a dwelling after warning. All right. All right, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. Did you want me to consider appointing a lawyer, Mr. Brown?
Say again?
Did you want me to consider appointing a lawyer to represent you?
No, sir.
Okay.
I got nowhere else to be right now anyway.
Okay. All right.
Figured I'd stay in the
Good
5-star
luck, sir.
hotel.
Is this Verna Birch?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Well, this is going to take some reading. All right. So Mr. Birch is charged with resisting a merchant and petty theft.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to find probable cause exists for the charge of petty theft and resisting a merchant.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Miller, I'm not sure where the resisting a merchant probable cause is. Can you help me?
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
Sure.
I don't see it as well.
All right. Yeah, usually there has to be some actual resistance. All right, I'm gonna find probable cause on the petty theft. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $500 on the petty theft. I'm gonna find no PC on the resisting and release him on ROR. It looks like he is currently out on surety bond for possession of MDMA, resisting an officer without violence, petty theft times 3, and criminal mischief times 1. So I'm going to revoke all of those bonds. And I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent him on all remaining charges.
Hey, Your Honor, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody, but I'm not understanding when you say revoke. I mean, I'm not understanding.
Okay. All right. So you have a new law violation, which is petty theft.
Yes, sir.
So I've given you a bond on that.
Yes, sir.
According to the paperwork I've been provided, you are currently out on bond on 6 other cases.
Should have been 3, sir. You're right.
You might have 3 cases, but one case has got one case has 2 counts, one case has 3 counts, and one case has 1 count. So there's 3 cases, total of 6 charges.
Yes, sir.
In front of 3 different felony judges.
No, sir.
And so you have given up your right to be on bond on those because you committed a new law violation. So I'm taking away that condition of release, and you can take that up with those individual judges if they want to put you back out on the street.
All right, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir.
Because they told me to make sure I let you know. If you look at the paperwork, it's Vernon Burst Jr., it's Vernon Burst Sr., and it's Vernon Burst III. But they told me, they always get us in that cahoots.
Are you all related?
Yeah, brothers and daddies.
That's not a good choice.
And like I was telling him, you know what I'm saying? My child is artistic. Everybody can't work with him.
All right. Have we confirmed those? Well, if I've revoked conditions and it's not this gentleman, it won't affect his ability to get out, right? Yeah, if it's not you, it won't.
Well, I'm saying, Your Honor, my child is artistic. Everybody can't work with my child.
Okay.
And I have to be there, you know what I'm saying? So what I do, repay these bonds?
All right, well, if what you're telling me is that the 3 other felony cases aren't you, then I've revoked the bond on someone that has your name, either the second or junior or the third.
On my what's we call it, you know what I'm saying? Because they tried to give me a battery or something that wasn't mine, you know what I'm saying? But it came out to be my brother. The only thing I'm saying is, what do I have to do to make this right so I get back to my child? Because it was just a misdemeanor. And my child is artistic. Everybody can't handle my child.
I understand.
And I don't want...
Can I quit the public defender? All right, you can explain that to the public defender, and they will be able to help you sort this out.
So I ain't got no bonds?
You've got a bond on the petty theft for which you were arrested, but I've revoked the bonds on all the other 6 cases.
Well, how do I get them bonds back, sir?
You've got a public defender. You can talk to the public defender. Megan Heyman? All right, Ms. Heyman?
Yes, ma'am.
Does Ms. Heyman qualify for PTR?
No, sir.
She does not? All right. All right, Ms. Heyman, I'm going to find probable cause on... Mr. Miller, can you help me out on this one? I only see one controlled substance. There's 2 pills, but the charging affidavit says it's the same drug. I was looking to see if there was maybe a bag of marijuana but I didn't see that.
I think the only distinction in the charges is the one charge is not having the prescription for the pill, and the other one is possessing the controlled substance. Because you can possess that substance with a proper prescription. So they just doubled it up and put one without the prescription, and one is the possession of it.
Which one do you like the best?
Possession of a controlled substance.
Okay. All right, what I'm going to do is I am going to find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of possession of a controlled substance in the amount of $500, and the possession of a drug without a prescription, I'm going to ROR her. I'll find PC on them both, but I'm going to ROR on the second one. That's a great question, but that's what I think there probably is probable cause, but I'm going to ROR. All right, Ms. Heyman, do you reside in Rockford, Illinois?
Yes, yes, sir.
So you're here on holiday?
My mother-in-law just passed away. We spread her ashes,
all right.
then we came to Orlando.
Okay, and you're not currently employed?
No, sir.
All right. What I'm going to do, so these are both misdemeanors? Huh. Well, that's the second thing I learned today. Ms. Heyman, I'm going to find you qualified for the appointment of a public defender. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I have no problem with you returning to your home in Illinois. I've set bond very reasonable for you based upon the facts contained in the charging affidavit. I don't want to be misunderstood. This is still serious, and you have to take care of this.
Yes, sir.
You can't go back to Illinois. I'm permitting you to go.
Yeah.
Don't forget about us.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Keep in contact with your lawyer. Your lawyer can help you work this through.
Yes.
If you don't take care of this and your lawyer doesn't know where you are, the judge who gets this case is going to have to probably issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I understand.
So don't complicate things.
I won't, sir.
All right.
I won't.
All right. So PC, set bond, point PD. All right, good luck.
I apologize. My bond was $500?
$500,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
All right, good afternoon.